I am not really an expert in the health insurance. In fact, I have had nothing to do with. In my career also, I have never been posted in the health sector, so I am not a very appropriate person to head this panel. But then I think I just want to share with you what we have been doing, and that may be of interest to you who are working in this health insurance sector. So just to give you a flavor of what Aadhaar is and how this can be used as a tool to improve what you are doing. So one is that we are creating unique identity for every Indian resident. What it means is that one person has a 12-digit number associated with him or her. It also means that this number is not attached to the demographic information of that individual, which is how he or she spells his or her name, but it actually attached to the biometric attributes of that person. It follows, therefore, that if I change my name from Ram Sevak Sharma to RS Sharma or Ram Sharma or whatever way I write the name, I cannot get another number even if I try to. Now that actually has a lot of applications. The uniqueness itself has a lot of applications. A, because you cannot have more than one identifier. Therefore, in any database you cannot have, cannot get the advantage of two, for example, you can't have two ration cards, or you can't have two health insurance policies in case you wanted to have one. So basically the multiplicity, and so we have a lot of hosts and duplicates in many databases. Now that problem is resolved by having a unique identifier. The second issue is that this is a lifelong number attached with your personality or your person. This means this is a completely invariant number. Your age might change, your other things might change, your profile, marital profile might change, but this number will not change. And therefore, this can become a unique identifier. And in fact, I will go a step further. It can become a universal communication address to address that person. Now, how does that work? Basically, you have this mobile number portability. Now you can change companies and you can, continue to have the same mobile number. What you can have, this is a number which is universally attached to you. So what you can do, you can attach all your attributes with this number. And through this, you can, go to that person. For example, if you have an email address, I don't bother where your data is residing. Now, I can have an email address, your UID number @gov.in. And that's a unique identifier. And I can actually create those emails and I can just communicate with you throughout your life. So essentially, this becomes, you can have everything portable inside it, but this number can address you, uniquely. And in some sense, what we have done is that we will create 1.2 billion receptacles where you can address each person uniquely, and you will never sort of, misaddress or go to a different, letterbox. If you want to address this, you can, do that. Coming to more specific, this number can work as your financial address, which means, suppose I have an account in the State Bank of India 1234, and this number is attached with that account number. Now, for the government to give me 100 rupees subsidy, the government does not need to know my account number. They can just address the subsidy saying that Aadhaar number 1234, pay 100 rupees. Now the banking system in turn will resolve as to which account this money will go to. Therefore, as I started from a general address for communicating with everybody, in specific terms, this can become a universal financial address to put the subsidy into individual's account. Now this kind of architecture, whereby suppose there are 14 crore LPG customers in India, and government is thinking of doing a direct cash transfer of subsidies to LPG customers. What it means is that a person who is getting LPG will have to pay the full price of the LPG cylinder. At the same time, he takes the delivery of that cylinder, the subsidy amount for that cylinder will go to his account. Now this kind of architecture will ensure that the cylinders do not have a dual pricing. Cylinders move at the market price. And once they move at the market price, there is no reason for their black marketing or their diversions, etc., etc. And only those persons who are entitled to the subsidy for those cylinders, which means they are legitimate customers entitled for subsidized cylinders, immediately as soon as they receive the cylinder, the subsidy goes to their account. Now this kind of scalable architecture, now imagine how much transactions will it involve. There are 14 crore subscribers. Now if the government of India gives 6 cylinders per annum, which means we have got 14 into 6 is how much? 84 crore transactions per annum will take place. This means 84 crore credit transactions to the subsidy account, to the accounts of these 14 crore individuals will take place in a year. It translates to 2.5 million transactions, credit transactions per day. And that's only one small sector called LPG. Now if you do it for scholarships, if you do it for Narega wages, if you do it for National Social Assistance Program, if you do it for fertilizer, if you do it for food, there are large number of, so you can imagine the scalability of this architecture which will be required to make that happen. And this is possible if I have this architecture of addressing the person not by bank account number, because a person can change the bank account number. So what he will not be able to change is UID number. So if I have some place, a table which gives me UID number, bank account number, or bank account detail, or a bank identification. Once I have UID number, bank ID, then the signal can go to that bank, and that bank can locate into its core banking system database as to which account this money has to go. So therefore, this architecture, what we call Aadhaar payment bridge, because Aadhaar works as a common adapter to link the databases of LPG customers with the bank account details. So this kind of linking, which is unambiguous, makes it possible for us to transact millions and millions of transactions per day electronically into people's account. So this is the architecture which has been built. Now once you have the credit part, see, you can credit the money, then you need to have a distribution network, because if there is a poor person who gets kerosene subsidy into his account, now if you ask him to go 40 kilometers to a bank branch to withdraw the subsidy, the money of subsidy will be spent in the bus journey. So there is no point in doing this architecture halfway. There is no point in doing the credit architecture without doing a disbursement architecture. So at the disbursement end, you need to create large number of points from where a person can do banking transactions. So for that, UID has come up with what is called a micro ATM, which is a small mobile device, which you can see in the stall, which is outside UID stall, which essentially costs not more than 10,000 rupees. And now with Akash tablet having come in, the entire device will cost you 2,500 rupees. Where a person with the use of this mobile device is able to do banking transactions. Now you will wonder why this was not possible earlier and why it is possible now. It is possible now because Aadhaar allows an architecture for online authentication. What it means is you plug in your Aadhaar number and you plug in your fingerprint. The signal goes to UIDAI. We confirm that yes, this person is R.S. Sharma. This person is Mr. Rami Reddy. Once that third party authentication is done by UIDAI, the banks will allow authorization into their CBS, which means if the person has a balance, he can draw the money, you can get a balance inquiry, you can deposit the money therein. So basic transactions of balance inquiry, withdrawal, deposits, and peer-to-peer transfer of accounts, that kind of transactions can be done at the grassroots level through the business correspondents and through the micro ATM. So this architecture allows the large number of distribution points, and we are actually planning for 1 million micro ATMs in the next 1 year. And we are also subsidizing and financing, we are incentivizing the banks to have this architecture, this infrastructure. So UID is creating, by eliminating duplicates and fakes, cleaning the database, and by providing an online, real-time, anytime, anywhere authentication system, facilitating the delivery. For example, in Andhra Pradesh itself, in East Godavari district, we are having an experiment under the PDS system, where a person goes and he or she authenticates her identity, and after authenticating gets the ration. Now the ration character cannot, the fair price shop dealer cannot show that ration was not lifted by, let's say, a person X, was lifted by person X, though without the person X having ever come to ration shop. And that's normally what happens. That's normally how the black marketing takes place. With this real-time authentication, now it is not possible for him, the ration shop dealer, to show that X had indeed lifted the ration. So essentially it makes the delivery transparent, cost-effective, accountable, and non-repudiable. Which means you can't, and then that Leelavati also, who drew the ration, cannot now say that I had not gone to that shop, because her authentication at that point of time is there. So essentially in all service deliveries, we are doing the delivery of giving the Narega wages, we are doing the delivery of, giving mobile phone connections by using the online real-time authentication in a paperless manner. We are experimenting and piloting. In Mysore, we are piloting with the LPG cylinder delivery. In Jharkhand, we are piloting the Narega wages, welfare, scholarships, National Social Assistance Program delivery. In Aurangabad, in Maharashtra, we have piloted the old age pension. In Tripura, we have done the same thing for Narega wages and old age pensions. So we have a number of pilots which have been successfully done in order to prove the architecture and how this system is going to work. Now, coming back to the health insurance sector, one of the issues, I am not an expert on this issue, but I have seen one issue. In crop insurance and the mass scale health insurance, you insure all unorganized sector labor for the, accident. This is called an unorganized sector accident insurance scheme. Let's say may not be a health one, but this is an accident insurance. Now, when a person dies, you don't have actually the actual persons who have been insured in it. You say, oh, all Jharkhand unorganized sector labor have been insured, and we estimate the number to be 1 lakh, and therefore the insurance premium being 30 rupees, and therefore 30 lakhs is the premium to be paid to the insurance company. But when that person who dies, how do you claim the insurance benefit? Because you are not sure whether the person really is insured or not. You are insuring a whole population, you are insuring a whole area without really identifying who are the insured people. UID will allow you to, uniquely, unambiguously know as to this person is the one who has been insured. And not only that, if the person also has given suppose he dies and he has given the nominee, and nominee's UID is also there, you can actually deliver the money, the whatever insurance amount, to the next of the kith and kin of the person by having an online real-time authentication. So essentially my view is overall, I am not an expert again, my view is that this number, the uniqueness of this number and the online authenticable property of this number will be able to clean up a number of sectors, including the health insurance. That's my proposition. I don't know how, does it fit into your sort of sector. I just wanted to share this with you, that this is a tool, this is an enabler, this is a foundation on which you can build a whole lot of applications. The foundation allows uniqueness, the foundation allows you to online authentication. These two properties will probably make it very useful in the health insurance sector. Thank you very much for sharing these thoughts. Now may I invite Dr. T.S. Selve Vinayagam, Joint Director, Chief Minister's Comprehensive Health Insurance Scheme, Government of Tamil Nadu.